Welcome to Chapter 2. This particular chapter focuses on really how marketing fits into an overall company wide strategy to help an organization achieve their goals. There's no question that Starbucks is masterful when it comes to their marketing strategy. Starbucks sells more than just coffee. They sell what they call the Starbucks experience, one that ultimately enriches people's lives one moment, one human being, and one extraordinary cup of coffee at a time. But it's the Starbucks marketing strategy is embedded in the company's overall company strategy, and we're going to talk a little bit more about how sort of marketing and other functional areas of business ultimately work collaboratively to provide overall customer value and a strong value proposition, as well as help the organization achieve their goals. Strategic planning is a company's game plan for long-term survival and growth. This is the process that they use to develop a strategic fit between the products and services that they offer and the customers that they want to serve to ultimately help the organization achieve its goals and maximize the opportunities that the company may actually have in the marketplace. So, marketing is just one component of an overall strategic plan. It is not the same thing. A marketing plan and a strategic plan are not the same thing. A marketing plan is part of a strategic plan, and a really important part of a strategic plan, but they're not necessarily the same. They're not the same thing at all. This is just a visual representation of what a strategic planning process or the steps look like. Ultimately, you want to start by defining the company's mission, the fundamental purpose that the company is trying to fulfill, and then moving on to set company goals and objectives. What are specifically you're trying to achieve? Is it a certain amount of revenue? Is it a certain amount of growth? Is it a certain amount of profitability? Those are some of the financial or monetary, quantitative objectives, but there could be other objectives as well. And from there, you develop a business portfolio of various products and services that you may want to produce and offer in the marketplace. And marketing stems from that. Once you know what your business portfolio is, then you develop marketing plans around each of your business portfolios to ultimately help the organization achieve its goals. A mission statement is basically a short sentence or phrase that ultimately encapsulates the organization's purpose. What is our business? Who are our customers? What do our customers value? And what should our business model be? How should we be trying to satisfy those needs? From a market orientation perspective, it's defined in terms of how we satisfy the basic needs of our customers. It emphasizes the company's strengths. What does it do really, really well? And compensates for anything it doesn't do quite as well. But ultimately, it should focus on its customers and the customer's experience with that organization. If you remember from the last set of slides and the video lecture, we talked about different orientations, so product versus market oriented business definitions. If you are a product oriented company, you focus on the products and services that you manufacture and sell and provide to the marketplace. If you are market oriented, you focus on the consumer and their needs and how you can provide them value. So here's just a couple of examples. Starbucks, my favorite topic in the world. If you're product oriented, then you might think that Starbucks sells coffee. But if you are market oriented, you may say that Starbucks sells the full Starbucks experience, one that enriches people's lives, that focuses on individuals, and tries to be extraordinary every single day. And so if you actually looked at the value proposition for Starbucks, the fact is that they don't just sell coffee. They sell what they consider to be the Starbucks experience, and that's fundamental to how they operate their business. And there's just some other examples as well. Ritz-Carlton hotels, for example, if they're product oriented, they're focusing on renting out hotel rooms. But if you're marketing oriented, you're focused on the Ritz-Carlton experience, a memorable stay that far exceeds your guests' already high expectations. So we're seeing a major shift in when people are crafting their mission statements now. It's shifting from a product focus very much to a more market oriented uh, mission for the company. They're recognizing that products come and go, but customers, if you focus on them, your company can evolve continually over time to continuously meet their needs. The next step in the strategic planning process is to set goals and objectives for your organization. And you can do that at the organizational level, at the corporate level, but you can also do that at the marketing level as well and set specific objectives and goals for your marketing activities. And so it could be increasing customer loyalty, for example, or increasing share of customer. It could be, you know, brand recognition could be an objective for a marketing unit within an organization. So they don't all have to be number-based profit, revenue, growth-oriented objectives. They can actually be marketing-oriented objectives as well. While a strategic plan and a marketing plan are not the same things, they do have to have an awful lot of similarities. A marketing plan can't differ substantially in meaningful ways from the strategic plan. For example, the marketing plan has to align with the company's mission. A marketing plan has to align with the organization's goals and objectives. A marketing plan has to take into account the business portfolio of the organization. So these things don't happen in isolation from each other. They happen collectively. They have to fit together to form a seamless plan for the organization. If the strategic plan and the marketing plan conflict, what you're going to have is confusion within the organization, and it won't be a very effective organization. You won't be able to achieve your organization's goals and objectives. A business portfolio is simply the collection of business or products that make up a company. Most larger organizations don't have just one single product that they sell to consumers. They actually may have dozens or hundreds or even thousands of products in their business portfolio. For example, did you know that Coca-Cola Corporation owns over 10,000 different brands within their product portfolio? And so when you develop an organizational strategic plan or even a marketing plan, you need to take into account all of the different business portfolios or products and services that make up that business. And sometimes it's developing unique plans for each individual product, or it could be a more cohesive, overarching marketing plan that encompasses or engages each of the different products and services or brands that a company offers in their business portfolio. Just for example, the Mars Incorporated is not only the world's largest candy maker. They make Mars bars and Snickers bars and M&Ms, for example, but they're also world leading in terms of pet nutrition and healthcare company products. So the Mars Corporation isn't just a candy company. Their business portfolio actually includes an array of products in a variety of different market categories. So again, pet food or healthcare, and of course, confections. It's really important to understand your company's current business portfolio, to understand all of the different products and brands or strategic business units, SBUs, that a company is responsible for, and develop plans unique to each of those strategic business units to help each of those units contribute to the overall achievement of a corporation's goals and objectives. It's really important. And there's a tool actually that we're going to talk about next that will help you understand your business portfolio. The BCG Growth Share Matrix, BCG stands for Boston Consulting Group Growth Share Matrix, is a tool that many organizations use to understand what kinds of products that they have in their product portfolio. This matrix breaks down products into 4 categories based on the market growth rate. So, is the marketplace for this kind of product growing or not growing? And relative market share. So, is our product in this particular marketplace high in terms of market share? Do we own a lot of the market in this particular product category, or do we not own a lot of the market in this particular category? So, there's 4 different kinds of categories of products. There are stars, which are high growth products that are in high growth markets and have a relatively high market share. You have cash cows, which are in low growth markets but have a high relative market share. You have question marks that are in high growth markets but have a low market share. And you have dogs that are in low growth markets but have low relative market share in that market. And so it's really important to understand and categorize each of the products in your product portfolio as either stars, question marks, cash cows, or dogs, because how your products are categorized will influence your marketing strategy. Please make sure you take some time to read more about the Boston Consulting Group's Growth Share Matrix in the textbook. This is a very, very common tool that's used by companies, but it's not without its own problems. It can be difficult and time consuming and costly to use. If you're a company like Coca-Cola, like I was telling you a few moments ago, that has over 10,000 different products in its product portfolio, it obviously can be difficult to determine what kinds or what category each of those 10,000 products fall into. Sometimes it can be hard to difficult or define or measure market share and market growth so that you know which category applies to a particular product. And also, while it certainly can provide a little bit of insight, it's not a foolproof way to plan your marketing strategy. You don't want to use that as your only decision-making factor when deciding how you want to market a particular product or service in your business portfolio. This is another really important tool that companies can use to understand their business. This is the growth matrix. There are only 4 ways possible for a company to grow, and they're listed right here. A company can grow through market penetration, which means you sell more of your existing products to your existing market. Another way to grow is through product development. You develop new products in your product portfolio and you sell those products to your existing customers. Another way to grow is through market development, which means you take existing products that you are already making, and you find new markets for those products. So find a different group of consumers to sell an existing product that you already have in your product portfolio, so you can grow that way. And the last way to grow is by far the riskiest. It's called diversification. And this is when you develop brand new products and sell them to brand new markets. There are no other ways to grow your business. These are the only 4 options available to you. And so if one of your organization's objectives is to grow your business, you need to figure out which of these strategies, you don't need to choose just one, but which of these strategies are you going to use to help grow your business? This is an excellent exam question. Starbucks has grown enormously over the past 3 decades. They started out as a small coffee shop in Seattle, and now they're a $22 billion powerhouse with 27,000 retail stores in over 75 countries. How did they grow? Well, they used multiple strategies for their growth. They used market penetration. They tried to get their existing customers to come in and buy more of their existing products. They encourage Starbucks fans and customers to come in more regularly and to spend more money when they're there. They also grow through product development. They introduce new products to their menu and sell those products to existing Starbucks consumers, right? So they might add a new type of beverage. They added over the time period. They had a little sort of cafe with sort of bakery type goods. So they've added new products and they sell those products to their existing customers. Starbucks has also expanded by opening stores in places that don't already have a Starbucks. So they're taking existing Starbucks products, the existing menu, and opening new stores in new marketplaces that don't already have a Starbucks. So they're growing that way. So Starbucks didn't just choose one growth strategy, they actually grew their organization through multiple growth strategies. And that's very common for a lot of businesses. You don't necessarily just need to choose one growth strategy. It may make a lot of sense to choose multiple growth strategies and focus on each of those at different points in time or at the same time as a means to fuel that growth. Sometimes you may get to a point in your business's life cycle where there are certain products or business units in your product portfolio or business portfolio that are no longer profitable, are no longer fit the overall company's strategy. So some of these reasons might be maybe the company is growing so fast that they want to focus company resources on the most significant opportunities and maybe stop producing those products and maybe abandon those products that don't offer that kind of growth for the company. Maybe you don't have any experience in that particular market, and so it's not going very well, and you want to abandon that product or market. Maybe you want to change. Maybe there's been a change in the marketing environment, and your company needs to respond. And one of the ways to respond is to abandon products or markets that don't make sense any longer. Or there could just be a decline in a particular product. I mean, people's tastes and preferences change over time, and so businesses need to be responsive to that. One of the ways that companies provide value to their customers is by partnering with others in the marketing system. So it could be partnering with people within the organization, other departments in the organization, but it also could mean partnering with people outside of the organization, your suppliers, your distributors, and your customers that ultimately all make up your value delivery network. The value delivery network is composed of all the various partners that are involved in providing value to end consumers. This slide is just a visual of the 4 P's of marketing. You can see them there in the second circle from the outside: product, price, place, and promotion, and all of the different partners that you might have in helping to provide value through product, price, place, and promotion. So it could be your intermediaries, it could even be your competitors, it could be your various publics, it could be suppliers, all these various factors that ultimately all come together to help create the comprehensive marketing strategy that a company is going to use to help the organization achieve its goals. Today's marketing strategies are all focused on delivering value to customers. Companies must be customer-centric. They must focus first and foremost on their customers, what their customers' needs are, and how the company can satisfy those needs by providing value. Some of the ways we do this is through analyzing who our customers are, through segmentation, breaking up potential customers into smaller groups that have unique characteristics about them, deciding which of those groups we want to target and focus on in our marketing, to differentiate products and services tailored to meet the unique needs of the different customer segment groups that we want to focus on, and positioning our products so that they provide the maximum amount of value to our customers and ultimately help the organization achieve its goals. One of the first and most strategic decisions that marketers need to make as part of their marketing plan is to decide on their marketing segmentation and market targeting strategies. And we'll talk a lot more about these 2 concepts in a later chapter, but for right now, Market segmentation involves dividing a marketplace into distinct groups of buyers who have different needs, different characteristics, or different behaviors, and who might require different products or different marketing strategies. Once you've divided a potential market into distinct groups of buyers, then you need to decide which of those groups you're actually going to target in terms of your own marketing strategy for your organization. Companies don't typically target all market segments. They try to pick several that they feel best align with what value the company can provide and try to find a match between uh, the company's value proposition and the consumers that they're targeting. Differentiation and positioning are two additional concepts that, again, we'll talk about it in a lot more detail in a later chapter. But positioning is about the place that the product that you're offering occupies in the minds of consumers. So it's not about a physical location, it's about how consumers view your product. They view your product as an innovative product or a cheap product or an expensive product or a stylish product. So positioning is the place you occupy in the minds of consumers, how consumers would describe or how they think about your product. Differentiation is the strategy that involves finding ways to make your products different than the competitors' products. It's all the ways in which you make your products different and offer superior customer value to your consumers. And again, we'll talk a lot more about these two concepts in later chapters. As I mentioned in the last chapter, the 4 Ps of marketing, also known as the marketing mix, are the set of marketing tools that a firm uses to produce value for their customers. They produce value through their product, they produce value through their pricing strategy, they produce value through their place strategy, and they provide value through their promotional strategy. And each of these will be discussed in considerable detail after the midterm exam. This little visual slide gives you some ideas of the various types of strategies that marketers might use to provide value to their customers. So in terms of products, they may offer a variety of products or a certain quality of products, or they may embed value in their products through their design or the various features that their products have. Brand names provide value, packaging provides value, and services provide value. From a pricing strategy, you've got your list price, strategic discounts, allowances, payment periods, credit terms are all various pricing strategies that a company may use to provide value. From a promotional perspective, there are 5 ways to communicate with your customers through advertising, through personal selling, through sales promotion, public relations, and direct or digital marketing. And again, we've got several chapters later in the semester devoted to promotional strategies. And lastly is place strategies, the supply chains that you use to get your product into the hands of consumers. Which channels of distribution or coverage do you plan to use, again, to get your product in the hands of consumers? How are you going to manage the logistics and transportation to get your products into the hands of consumers? And there's 2 chapters later in the semester that we're going to cover that talk about place strategies. The 4 Ps of marketing is a very old and well-established way of looking at marketing, but it certainly has its fair share of criticisms, and there's been lots of alternative models of marketing strategies that have been put forth, including the 4 Cs of marketing, and as our textbook focuses on, the 4 As of marketing. So this idea of the 4 Ps is not without criticism, and so you may see in other classes, or especially non-marketing classes, you may see other models of marketing, but for most introductory marketing classes, the focus is going to be on the 4 Ps of marketing. Another organizational tool, this is not really a marketing tool, it's really an organizational tool that helps and can help marketers understand an organization is what's called a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And you may have seen this particular concept in other business classes. It's certainly one that we talk about a lot. Again, it's not specifically a marketing tool that is used specifically for marketing. It's used more at an organizational level, but it certainly can be used to help inform marketing decisions. So figuring out what the company is really good at, and of course what it's not very good at, should help inform marketing decisions. Looking for opportunities in the marketplace or threats in the marketplace are also important considerations when designing a marketing plan. So SWOT analysis can be an important part of overall marketing decision making, but it's not really a marketing tool by itself. The next couple of slides give you a bit of an overview of what a marketing plan might look like. What would be the major sections of a marketing plan? Of course, you'd have your executive summary. You'd have an analysis of the current marketing situation. You'd give a description of the various products that you're currently offering, who your competition might be, how your product is distributed, those sorts of things. So a basic overview of the current marketing situation. You would then do a SWOT analysis, look at the various threats and opportunities that represent things that you want to take advantage of or mitigate against. And of course, you'd want to look at the overall organizational objectives and then establish your marketing objectives to fit with those overall corporate objectives. Continuing with the parts of a marketing plan, and again, these don't necessarily have to go in this order, nor do we have to include all of these things in every marketing plan, but these would be common things that you would find in most marketing plans. The next section would be your marketing strategy. This would be your your target audience, your positioning strategy, your differentiation strategy, and this is where you would discuss in detail your 4P strategies, how you're going to provide value to your customers through your marketing mix, the 4Ps of marketing: product, price, place, and promotion. You will then create actionable items. How are you going to translate these plans into actionable activities that your organization is doing? You'll of course look at things like budgets, like how much do you have to spend, how much are these actions and strategies going to cost, and of course controls or measures to see if what you're doing is actually working and helping you to achieve your organization's goals. Marketing plans don't mean a whole lot if you don't implement them. So taking your marketing strategies and plans and turning them into marketing actions that actually help you achieve your goals is critically important. Market implementation addresses the who, when, where, and how of your marketing activities. Who's going to do it? Where is it going to get done? When's it going to happen? And how is it going to happen? So it's not enough just to come up with really good marketing ideas for your marketing plan. You also have to implement those ideas so that your objectives can be achieved. This slide offers various options for how you might organize your marketing department in a large organization. So you may organize your marketing department by functional areas. You have a team that is responsible for advertising, and a team that's responsible for social media, and a team that's responsible for pricing strategies. So you divide your marketing organization or marketing department up into functional groups. And each of those groups is responsible for all the products and services in your organization, but specifically for that functional area, whether it's advertising or public relations or whatever it might be. You could also organize your marketing department by organization. So you could have a team that's responsible for the West Coast, a team that's responsible for Central Canada, and a team that's responsible for Eastern Canada, for example. You could also organize your marketing department based on products. So you could have a team that's responsible for soft drinks, another team that's responsible for sports and energy beverages, and a team that's responsible for water or health-oriented beverages. An important part of any marketing plan are the marketing controls, the ways in which we're going to measure and evaluate how effective our marketing strategies and plans are. We often don't think about this. We spend so much of our time and energy into coming up with really good ideas for marketing initiatives, and we often forget that we have to measure the success of these initiatives as well. And we're going to talk a lot more about those in the coming weeks and the various kinds of ways that you can measure the success of your marketing activities. One of the most common ways to measure success in any activity or endeavor is to assess the return on investment. Where basically you evaluate how much you spend on a marketing initiative or investment, and then determine how much you receive in return. So it's a standard, it's an accounting principle, but we can use it actually in marketing as well to measure the overall effectiveness of our marketing strategy. So if we spend $100,000 on a marketing campaign and it generates $50,000 in new revenue, well, that's not really a great return on our investment. However, if we spend $100,000 on a marketing campaign and it generates $2 million worth of new revenue for our business, then that is a really good return on investment. So there are times when we need to bring in sort of accounting principles to help us understand the effectiveness of our marketing initiatives. Typically, when we think of return on investment, we think of it in terms of dollar value. There are other ways of measuring marketing returns that don't necessarily tie directly to dollars or revenue or profitability. And it could include things like improved customer value and engagement, increased customer attraction or retention, and increased lifetime values or customer equity. And we'll talk again more about other forms of measuring returns on investment besides the basic accounting principles in the coming weeks. This is our last slide for Chapter 2. Please make sure you read the chapter that goes along with this from our textbook, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.